Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is your girl Mitzi, and this is Mitzi. Let's think about it. Today, we are thinking about the journey through spirit. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, our spirit. Can we start thinking about this a little bit more? Yes, we can. So, we have a special guest here today, Maria, who's going to help us think about this in another way. So, Maria, let's just dive right in. When you hear the words journey through spirit, what does that make you think about?
Mm. It makes me think about my connection to everything and all that is. Yep.
That's a powerful statement. For the ones in the back who don't understand that, please elaborate.
Okay. Well, I like to say that God set me with all of my sense settings on high. So I'm somebody who is extrasensory. You can use the word empath, you can use the word psychic, channel, all of these beautiful sensory abilities that I have. So I travel through the world by feeling. And I connect to absolutely everything, nature, people, rocks. I mean, all the elements, things that are
That's
outside of myself and then within myself, because
yeah.
it all has a connection. Um, and we all come from the same source. That's what I
Yes.
believe, love, and we will all return to love. Everything is love, and not the romantic love.
Yeah.
It's that vibration. It's what
It,
you feel when you like meet somebody and you're like, I really dig that person. Oh, that's because we're on the same vibe. Like
yes, yes.
immediately when I popped on and I saw you put your lipstick on, I was like, this is a girl who cares about herself. Okay. I
Mhm.
like to put on lipstick. It's a part of my self-care, like,
Yeah.
and I think that people kind of, I said, tend to like misconstrue and misdefine spirituality. I am an earth girl. I am a hippie. I'm a weirdo, but I also have a lot of like qualities about me that are very, regular, I'd say. Like I love lipstick.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all because I think people forget that when you are so in tune spiritually, that things in life are just a little different compared to people who are not in tune with spiritually. And I'm glad that you brought up the fact that, just the simplest things, objects, you know what I mean? People that wouldn't even think objects has any type of energy. Yes, objects
Mhm.
have energy, and depending on the energy that's attached to the object, it can reveal itself to you in such a way where you're like, ooh, let me just put that down, or ooh, let me just keep on walking, or oh, let me just say a prayer real quick.
Absolutely.
You never
Absolutely.
know. And I
Mm-mm.
also love the fact that how you said that you have these qualities that are just like anybody else, but you also are so in tune with yourself that you're not afraid to be authentic. You're not afraid to just be open with all that you are and who you are. And I wish more people can embody that. And the reason why I had to ask you to elaborate, because let's be honest, we're so in tuned already that what needs to be explained doesn't really need to be explained because we already have that understanding. But I can't go into the light into this conversation without my listeners actually thinking about it, because not everybody has this understanding. You know what I mean? Not everybody
A
knows
hundred
how
percent.
to connect with just themselves. And I think when you brought up self-care, I
Mm.
think that's the first greatest step that somebody can do to start loving themselves. Because I know somebody who was
Yes.
like, I don't know how to love myself. I don't know what I like. And I was just like, well, start with self-care. Start with what makes you feel good, what makes you feel loved, what makes you feel joy. Well, and to also bring it back with what you said earlier about love. Yes, it's not about romantic. It's not about all that lovey-dovey, kissy-divvy, all that stuff. No, sometimes it's the foundation. And when you
Mm-hmm.
have that foundation of just love and you walk around earth in love, things don't bother you because it's like you understand when somebody's upset or they're frustrated, it's because they're off right now, but they'll be okay. Life will
Mm-hmm.
life will get them back again, and it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't bother you. And I also like the fact that you said you're also like an empath, because man, it's so true. I was driving home one day and I took the road and I drove past a cemetery and there was a funeral happening, the
Mm.
sorrow. Oh my goodness, the sorrow that I felt from these people. I was just like, this man is so, whoever died was so loved that these people are feeling so much grief that it's it overbears me some. And I was just driving by, I wanted to cry because I could feel the sorrow that they had. I was like, wow, it's gonna take them a long time to finally grieve this person. But once I finally drove past that corner, I was just like, relief, because it goes away too, because it's just part of the energy in the area
Hmm.
that amplifies, and people don't realize that your energy can amplify in such a way that you gotta low-key control yourself. You know what I mean? Like people have to
Well,
control themselves with
yeah.
that.
So we say, like mind your energy where you place it, where you that's discernment. So there's a lot of things that you said that I'd like to unpack. So I have not always existed in this form that you see me now. In the self-love, in the confidence, in the belief and trust of myself. That has been my path and my journey, traveling through with all of these senses, addiction, trauma, sexual abuse, an eating disorder. All of these things I had to walk through and overcome. And, they helped me to continue to reveal more of myself and my authenticity and my truth. And so now I choose to maintain that. That is my choice every day. We have free will. That is something we come in with. Regardless of how connected you are, we're still in the driver's seat. I guide people a lot, in my practice, and they're looking for answers, and I always turn it back on them. Like, I can, read the energy and tell you what spirit is saying, but we're still human beings on this planet in these lives for a reason, to
Yes.
learn and to make choices. um and the empath part. So, like, I feel like for a long time of my life, when I was unhealed, but was still a healer, because that's how I've come into this world, as a healer, I would be so turned up and so confused and intertwined with other people's energies that it was confusing for me to know what was mine and what was theirs. And it's taken a lot of practice to learn that. I say
Yeah.
to become realized and empowered, and not feel like the things that I experience are a curse, because they felt like that
Mm.
for a long time. And it was very, very confusing to be me for
No.
quite some time. I'd say for most of my life, I'm going to be 47 in December. So I'd say the last 6 years have been just glorious. Like, I'm just standing in a whole new light. But for most of it, it was pretty traumatic. I say I've turned pain into power.
That's a beautiful thing to say. That's a beautiful
Thank
thing
you.
to own. And that's it.
Mm.
And I'm glad you share that part of the how real you are, that you decided to share this about your addiction, about trauma, about sexual abuse, all of those
Yeah.
categories,
Yeah,
because you
that's
didn't
my
have to.
truth.
Let's be honest, you didn't have to
Yeah.
share that with me, but I appreciate that, because it's the realness of the conversation. It's the realness of what you have to go through for your spirit in this lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
And once we realize, like, yes, the bad comes, but so does the beautiful. The ugly's there,
Yeah. We don't
but
have to
so
stay in
is,
suffering,
yeah,
Mitzi.
we don't have to.
Like,
And that's,
you do not have to stay in suffering. So that is a big part of being a shaman, to, honestly, like, I stand on the backs of my ancestors. And that is like a lie that has been perpetuated through our culture and society for generations, and all they want, our past over loved ones, is for us to do better than they did. And that's where they
exactly.
guide us. And so if you can be in tune and allow yourself to have that, and this is my path. Like, I'm literally here for truth. So I'm, a writer. I say I'm listening. I'm just a vessel for divine messages, and that's where all my poetry comes from. So it is pretty humbling and amazing,
It is.
always, for me um, to be tasked with this. It's a very big responsibility, and I don't take it lightly. And I just enjoy every moment of life, because that's what we're here to do. It's not
Yeah.
like, so, you know
It's not so
I'm a
rigid.
deep person, so it's like I got to keep things light and fun too at the same time.
Tell me about it. Sometimes it's so deep, and you never know when it's gonna get out of the deepness until you get yourself out sometimes. You know what I mean? Because you
Mm-hmm.
can really go in
Mm-hmm.
your own rabbit hole, and depending what's around you, spiritually, energies, people, like let's be honest, you gotta sometimes pick and choose and come back to yourself. So I respect that
Yeah.
because I know that. And you know what I mean? The boundaries, man, boundaries is something I had to
Mm-hmm.
learn as well because
Me too. Yeah.
that the
Yeah.
thing that you brought up earlier is like you were confusing everything that was around you and you just felt so overwhelmed. Oh my goodness, I felt that, and it's frustrating to feel out of place in a world that paints this picture of how things should be. But
And a
then you
fairy
real
tale. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and nice words, fairy tale, and this imagination. But it's like once you come back to you, embody your soul, embody all that you are, you realize, you know what I mean? You're here for something greater. You're here for change. You're here for
Mm-hmm.
change, not just for you, for the generations that's to come. So when you
Mm-hmm.
talked about how you're standing on your ancestors, it's a beautiful statement because your ancestors are literally watching you, guiding you, and when they know that you're good, they can step back and actually get rest where they need to be. You know what I mean? They're
Mm-hmm.
meant to be resting right now, but they can't because of the chaos that has been going on in the lineage. Goodness, I can't say the
Yes.
word. The
No,
generations that has
I
gone.
love that you brought up the lineage because, and I can't take full credit for this because I saw a gentleman at one of the poetry slams I went to, and
Mhm.
he was wearing a shirt, and I'm going to swear, I'm
Go
just giving
ahead.
you a little heads up.
Go ahead.
Is that might fuck around and heal my ancestral lineage. And I was like, bam, I need that shirt. Because that's what we're doing. You and I as divine feminine, and I know you're a Latina. I can sense it. I also am Puerto Rican and Venezuelan and
Oh, nice.
Italian. So I come from a long line of candle lighters and prayer sayers, and so those are the people I tap into. They are who want me to fly and to climb and to keep going and to be the strong person that I know I am and can be for not myself always, but like for others. I mean, that's what we're here to do. We're here to connect. In the words of Ram
Mm.
Dass, we're just walking one another home.
Well
That's
then,
what I'm doing. I'll just
I
stand
got
beside you and guide you back to your own light when you forget that you're shiny.
I know, right? We need to stop forgetting that we all have these lights that we carry. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But sometimes we are born in a life that is so dark that we forget that we have light. And then when you step out of the darkness and you embrace your light, you realize you're already around so many people who are light that when you go around people who are dark, it doesn't phase you anymore because
Yeah.
you're light and others are light, and I can choose to be around other light people as well. And it's
Yeah.
a beautiful thing as I'm saying it because I can see it and it's a beautiful thing. So I have to ask you,
Mm.
what is your medicine? Like how does you
Okay.
get
What is my
Maria
medicine?
back to you? Yeah.
First of all, what you described about feeling others' darkness, that is what helps hone compassion. That is what helps choose peace.
Yeah.
So for me, what are the things that I do? Well, I've been doing yoga for many years, almost
Nice.
25 years. I come from a dance background, so I've always been moving. I'm somebody who has a lot of fire energy. So I'm always moving my body, connected to my breath. I love
Mm,
to meditate. I love
good.
to do sound frequency. That's a big thing for me. That's helped me change a lot of my brain waves and patterns from the trauma. I'm very, very mindful of everything I consume. So that's not just, what I put in my body, but I am a clean eater. I eat fish and plants. Um, I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't drink coffee. Yeah, like all of the things that became a real vice for me, I've just let go of. And I'm very mindful of where I put my energy and who I'm around. And I also
Hey,
like to be alone a lot. I like quiet
I
because
do
I'm so
too.
extrasensory. So it's very important for me to realize, like, okay, I'm starting to feel overwhelmed. Where is my quiet and where is my still? And that is something
Yes.
that escaped my life because I come from a big dysfunctional family, loud. So I
Yeah.
wasn't really taught these things, which is, you probably can relate a little bit.
Yeah,
We tend to
most
be
definitely.
loud and it's taken me time to just learn to take care of me in that way and not betray myself and put myself first. Because I think, women, I'm a mom as well. And so it was like, oh no, everybody has to come before me. Nope, it's the other way around. You have got to fill your own cup in order
Yes,
to help fill others' cups. So,
absolutely.
so yeah, it's saying no, it's learning. And I did this as an adult, like I went through a suicide attempt at 20 in 2011 when I was about 33 years old. So that
Wow.
really, really, that was my bottom. So that really, really changed me. And from that moment on, it was like, who am I? What am I doing? How can I get back to where I know I need to be, or where even am I? Yeah.
Exactly.
Life was
Yes.
pretty confusing back then in the midst
Oh
of
my
addiction.
goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's no joke. It's no joke when you feel like you hit rock bottom and it's like where do I go? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If everything and everyone already left me, do I even have grace to even deal with myself? You know what I mean? That's the hardest part. So I appreciate you being so honest because man, it's difficult to do this, but man, once you're able to start and you continue and continue, it's only motivation to keep going to see how far you can go.
Mm-hmm,
Because you're
mm-hmm.
not done, honey. You are not
Oh, I
done.
just
I am
started.
not done. Exactly. We just started this ball game, and it's gonna be a long one. You know what I mean? This is
Yeah.
for the long run. So it's like I also respect the fact that you said you appreciate silence.
Mm.
As a mother of two young boys under 2 years old, I appreciate
Ooh,
silence. I will wake up
you're a boy
early.
mom too. I love
Oh
it.
yeah,
I'm a
I'm
boy
a
mom.
boy
My
mom.
my my
Yeah.
chil- my children are boys. I mean, they're men now. They're
Mm.
23 and 19. So they're
Oh
grown, but
yeah,
I remember that world. I remember that
exactly.
world.
And I
And I
need
lived
I,
for nap time.
I do too. Oh my goodness, I love nap time. Like I time that. Like they're on a routine because
Mm-hmm.
I need that time. And I love the silence because it gets me controlled and censored. And that's when I know when something's trying to connect to me spiritually. You know what I mean? Because
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm able to attune myself to myself where I have my peace where I know what's going on around me spiritually as well. Like I
Yeah.
literally was working like in tune with myself, doing my thing, and all of a sudden I see spiritually my husband's grandfather walk in the door. And I was just like, did somebody just walk into the door? Like I asked my spirit, like, did somebody just walk into the door? And my spirit was just like, yeah, somebody just walked in the door. And I was just like, ugh. Okay. So then you know what I mean? So it's just like
I do.
it's those
I do. I have
moments
a lot of
sometimes.
visitors.
Yeah, so you already know how that goes
I'm
too. And
aware.
so I'm open to speak about this because I usually don't speak about this with people because people not every you don't always meet
Yes.
somebody like you know what I mean. And
Yes, I do.
they may misunderstand and misinterpret as they always do because they
Mm-hmm.
haven't gotten to that level of understanding. So you're always gonna misperceive and just think you're crazy. But it's like
Mm-hmm.
once you've gotten so in tune with yourself spiritually and all that you are and all that surroundings connected, like how you said earlier, this with everything, you are really aware. You know what I mean? You're really aware and you can tell the difference in voices, in energies and feelings and
Mm-hmm.
anger and you know what I mean? Like you can feel that. So it's just like it's
He
a
had a
beautiful
message for you. He had a message for you, and you just needed to be able to receive it. But
exactly.
that is who I am. So when I first started practicing and learning shamanic culture and my practice from my mentor, I said to myself, wow, I've done this in other lifetimes. This is very familiar. All of
Yeah.
this just really makes sense. And it everything became not confusing anymore. Like, oh, this is why I am the way I am. This is why I pick up on the things I pick up on. And of course, I didn't talk about it. I wasn't able to articulate a lot of this because of the fear of people not understanding, I already knew I was different and weird. So it wasn't like at that time,
It doesn't
growing
help.
up.
It
Yeah, it
doesn't
did.
help
It didn't
because
help.
people just think you're a witch. They just, you know how many times
Well,
I felt
that's
like
been
I
a
could,
negative. Exactly. It's a negative word, and it's
exactly.
not. We're
It's
literally
not.
just women connected to the earth, using the earth
Yes.
to heal us. That's it.
And we're
And
just spiritually in
same thing
tune.
with the word shaman. Like I identify as a shaman. I'm a modern day shaman. I wasn't raised by my ancestors. I learned from them through spirit, but it wasn't people in this life in their bodies teaching me this art. I know
Yeah.
that there's many who have come before me who've done this,
Yeah.
but I didn't have that. I wasn't raised by the elders and in a tribe, and people have all these misunderstandings and
They do.
connotations, and people have asked me, oh, do you live on a reservation? No, I do not.
Right?
Like,
Oh
no, I
my
mean,
goodness.
shamanism has been around since the dawn of time, since
Yeah.
people,
There's a lot
it's
of
just a connection. Yeah.
yeah,
So
there's a
I'm here to
lot of
like break all that and just to speak truth. And here's another truth. I identify as being neurodivergent. That is something that I didn't learn until I was into my 40s. And it's like,
crazy.
of course, that's how you would have to categorize me, because I have all of these sensory things and the way I process. And, it's a little different. I'm high functioning, but that was something that was hard. That was something that I always knew growing up, that I was different, that I didn't get things the way people did. But
Yeah.
as a, I really tried to copy. I was like,
Yeah.
people who are autistic were good copiers.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did, and
That's that's
the
very true.
best, I think the best joy right now, and you'll understand this as a mom, is being able to guide my sons. My one son and I are incredibly close, and he is very gifted. And I say to him all the time, like, I'm not here to raise you anymore. You're an adult, but I'm here to guide you. And nobody spoke to me about what it was like to be gifted and sensitive and pick up things. And I'm here to like tell him like you're normal. You're not
Yeah.
weird. There's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah.
Like, listen to
Exactly.
your guidance, because he's incredibly intuitive. Like, it's
Oh,
amazing what he picks up on. It's like, so I'm like so proud.
I know, I know. I could already tell one of my son has that intuitive
Mm-hmm.
aspect to him because he gives me these looks and I could read his eyes. And
Yeah.
I can read eyes like
It's
no tomorrow. You know
unspoken.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So sometimes I could just look at him and read his eyes. I was like, I already know. Just give me a moment. I'll take care of it. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'll take care of
Mm-hmm.
this. Don't worry. So it is a beautiful just relationship that you can have with someone who is gifted as well and just guide them because you're not teaching them, you're not nothing because it's natural. It's literally natural. You know what I mean? So when you
Mm-hmm.
said
Mm-hmm.
guidance instead of teaching, I applaud you on that because people need to know the difference between guidance and teaching. You know what I mean? So thank you for
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, time is coming to an end.
Ah,
I know it's so
well, it's
sad.
quick. I like
I
it.
know it does go really quick. So, what can be some lasting words of wisdom that you can leave us
Well, I'd love to share this poem that I have, one of my many poems. This is very, I think this fits in with our interview. So I
with?
chose to share with you. She chose to fly. The sky, as vast as the ocean, opened its mysteries to her gaze, staring, mesmerized, becoming hypnotized by the invisible twinkling lights as they came together to form the web of connection. An intuitive invitation was extended to her to join their cosmic energy infused dance. Feelings of anticipation vacillated between elation and overwhelm, for she felt torn, not wanting to leave the others behind. You've done the work, her guides proclaimed with joyous gusto, singing out her name. Again, the desire and longing to stay where she was gave her pause. She finally felt content in this world, yet she knew the mission at hand demanded she follow her soul's command. Detaching with love by surrendering all of her concerns to the divine, no longer could she carry, transmute, or unwind what wasn't hers to begin with. Setting her eyes into the vibration of the wind that would allow her to soar therein, she opens her wings. She chose to fly. She had served as an observer long enough to understand the depths of the darkness that molded her being. Transforming into the brightest of all light beings, she chose to fly. Traveling by feeling into unknown realms where fairies and dragons gifted her an abundance of energetic wealth, she chose to fly. Never looking back and wondering why, fully recovered from the amnesia she had suffered for lifetimes, she chose to fly.
What a beautiful poem. Oh my
Thank
goodness.
you. Thank
That is
you.
such a beautiful poem. Oh my goodness. I understand that poem, and that's very deep and very beautiful. And I hope anybody who's listening, oh my goodness, it's like a hug. I just want to hug you. Goodness,
Oh, and I
this
am a
is
hugger, so I love to do that.
spiritually.
And it's important for me right now. Currently, I host, along with a dear soul sister of mine, um, monthly poetry events. We call it Words with Wings. And so I recently shared that one with my group because everybody
Yeah.
needs to make that decision when it's time to fly. And
Yes.
I
Oh
hope
my
I hope you
goodness.
fly.
Right? I hope everybody who's listening flies. And if anybody wants to know more about Maria and then what she has to offer to the world, please check out her websites. Has everything good and so many more things you could think about. Why not? Right? So we're on the roll of
Yeah.
thinking. Just keep it going. Right? So with that being said, bye.